know the words that they use, you grew up in the similar time, you have the same references, all of that stuff. But the point is you want to go deep here and you want to make better connections with fewer people than these superficial surface level connections with a ton of people. The big reason here is because when you go broad, when you go after everybody, you're forced to naturally water down your message. It becomes more vanilla, it becomes more bland, and it has to, because if you were being specific about someone's unique pains and unique problems, well, it wouldn't be appealing or interesting to like everybody else. So therefore, you have to make it broad. And when you're broad, you're boring and everybody just ignores you and you sound like 99% of the other businesses and marketers out there saying the same things, like we offer higher quality and we offer better service and all of that stuff that everybody's heard a million times before and they're completely blind and deaf to. So the best way to solve this is to move on to our next point here, which is that you need an ICA. ICA is marketing talk for ideal customer avatar. I'm not completely strict on this exact fictional representation of your ideal customer, and you've got to give them a name and a hair color, and they've got to wear this kind of shoes and listen to this kind of music. I don't think that's necessary. It's helpful at times. What I think is more important is that you get really clear around the commonalities, the common characteristics that your top customers, your top clients, your top audience members have in common. And we typically divide this into 3 different categories. The first of which being demographic. So what's their age, their gender, their income, their occupation, their title, all of those stereotypical marketing things that we associate. Number 2, what are their geographic details? What city, state, province, country, where do they live? Number 3, their psychographic details. This is all of the head stuff. And this is where the bulk of your ICA should really be formed. So what are their values, their attitudes, their interests, their beliefs, their organizations, their political affiliations, their lifestyles, things that make them them. After all, we often want to group people into these broad buckets like men or women or this age or that age, but the reality is, depending on what product or service you sell, you may have a wide range of that and it may be more problem-based. On the other hand, you may also have multiple different ICAs, ideal customer avatars. That's cool too. I'm all right if you've got like, look, we work well with women who are 20 to 25, and we also work well with men who are 40 to 45. But those 2 different ICAs are going to have different pains and problems and fears and frustrations. We'll talk about that in just a second. So you can serve them both, but you need to serve them both with different messages. You simply can't appeal to them by using the same generic broad, bland terminology, because you're just going to turn the other one off by talking about things that are completely irrelevant to them. So you have an ICA, but make sure that it's specific and you can have multiple. And on that note, the way to dive into that is with the psychographic details of their values and attitudes and interests and beliefs. And I call that their miracles and miseries.